Ta 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 ta. Eccoci qua, buongiorno, buongiorno e buongiorno. Dunque, ieri sera eravamo rimasti che stavamo andando in giro per le varie ambasciate. Tanto, buongiorno signorine varie, chiudiamo, andiamo sul live. Ok. Devo parlare con l'ambasciatrice del Freestar per dirgli ehi, devo aprire quella cosa super segreta che non si può usare, eccetera, eccetera. È inutile salvare perché ho appena caricato, quindi vai.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
È un po' logora sta cosa. Non posso dirle che sono un ranger. Sono un ranger, ho il distintivo. Distintivo Freestar Ranger. Non è che l'ho messo giù magari.
What are you? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right. I was afraid of that. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go? No, Captain, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. What you experienced down there at the spaceport, I've lived that once before. Fought tooth and nail as aliens rampaged in the streets of my home and others all throughout the collective. But my aliens were placed there by UC hands. So I'm not interested in anyone getting power like that ever. You have my answer. Now, you're really gonna push this? All right. I'm listening. A ranger serving the cause of the colonies. You must really believe in this little endeavor. You know that for sure. That is interesting. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it.
Va bene.
You go in once. You get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement? Excellent. Follow me. Code generators just this way.
building is Freestar sovereign territory. So in here, we're the law.
Andiamo.
They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here, I'll reach out to Deputy McIntyre. We'll coordinate the necessary oversights. Two unlikely allies, I guess.
Bene. Qualche magazine qua e là, no, eh? No. Va bene. Possiamo andare.
Official business? Talk to the ambassador.
Andiamo. Per carità, poi sto stile anche di rustico, non è niente male. Però... Cioè, la loro capitale c'ha il fango. A proposito. Non ho ancora fatto parlare con sto tizio, non gli ho detto se... Vediamo un po' se devo parlarci oppure non gliene frega niente.
Always eager to help if I can. Did you find it? Your answers? I haven't had a chance. Oh?
Life is full of perspectives. There's never going to...
Ah, an interesting theory. When you cross into a new universe, what do you really... Anyway, if you do get to the Unity, it could end up being the only constant you have. That's actually a difficult question to answer. There was a time when I just stopped counting. I didn't care anymore. Only touching the infinite again mattered. But as my need for answers deepened, my pace slowed. I began to take in more. Sometimes I would try to share my experiences with others. It was a long time until I realized this is where I belonged. In this universe, building the sanctum. Which one is the actual unity, the concept, or the nexus between universes? The fact that a real center point between us all exists makes me believe more strongly that something greater is out there. The sanctum will always be here for those who seek it.
Ok. Quindi lui sapeva. Andiamo.
simply amazing. Well, this isn't what I expected at all. It appears the flora they were using as decor has overgrown the entire embassy.
Io che speravo nelle robe della casata dei pazzi. Andiamo di qua.
I've never seen a tree like this before in my... I'm sure they had something we can use.
Ok.
Give it your best shot. Any trouble, Brian?
No, non devi parlare.
If something's on your mind,
Ah, porca.
don't stay away too long. hearing things.
Peccato bisogna un bravo giardiniere sto tizio. Ok. Giustamente. No, ok, risolto. Di sopra. Facciamo un piccolo salva, si sa mai qua. Vabbè, questo era l'altro, ma fa niente. Ovviamente.
Where did you learn to pick a... You know what, on second thought, I don't want to know. on. Two of us make quite the pair.
So, what seems punishment becomes providence. A reminder we can never truly know the Great Serpent's designs for us. You have my thanks, and my apologies for the ordeal you just endured. Come, let us discuss.
Ok, vediamo.
Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning intercoms. I do greatly appreciate your persistence. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. But then again, who could cage such a beauty? Tell me though, what is it like outside? I heard the broadcast mentioning an attack. Then the embassy was struck with a power surge and then... silence. Has the rest of the city suffered quite so badly? Harmless spores, you have my word, but hard to navigate. Hence why I was guiding you through the intercoms to restore the environmental controls. It is the sap of the tree that gives it its... well, perhaps not a topic for this exact moment. But I must know of the rest of the city. Does it still stand? I take it you didn't have such an experience where you were then, hmm? Yes, the entire embassy was thrown into lockdown, trapping me in my quarters, disabling the Venom tree's filters, and arming the defenses. A disconcerting experience, to say the least. Is that right, huh? I shall need to have these repairs seen to sooner rather than later. Now, it cannot solely be the Serpent's grace that brought you here at such an opportune moment.
Ok.
You were sent by the UC. That much is obvious. Who else could just waltz through my door, hmm? And the broadcast spoke of terror morphs at the spaceport. A worrying occurrence, certainly, but coming here of all places, when all I could provide is some enthused cheerleading and... an archive code. So the UC requires information, then. On terror morphs, presumably, hmm? Do I see this all clearly? The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the archives. Using its data to prevent more attacks, there is logic there. But if I am to grant you access, I have a requirement. For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. We founded this embassy with hopes of shedding that legacy, with little success. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one who ensures it is used for good. Ensure House Varun's legacy is more than just carnage. The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. It is we who bend it to evil ends. Oh, you must assure me.
As the chair of Constellation, I take personal responsibility in vouching for this man's integrity. He'll keep his word.
Well then, I shall not fear. Please, follow me. Let's hope it still works. And there. Let it be used for good. Will we all be so lucky next time the archives need to be accessed? Something to think on. The affairs of House Varun are our own. They left. That is all there is to be said on the subject. House Varun committed itself to the armistice. This was said at the time to be the desire of the Great Serpent, and I do not believe the Serpent decides such things on a whim. So, when my brethren left, I remained, honoring the Serpent's will as I saw fit, as is the right of all his followers. It was tolerable, even pleasant, when my brethren were here in the embassy with me. We remade this place as best we could into a home we all would recognize. Our native flora, our iconography, our connection to the Serpent, they came with us. With my brethren gone, it has been trying. But the Great Serpent has always provided me a path in my darkest moments. The Great Serpent is so much more than a god. It is fate itself. When our founder, Jinan Varun, left the United Colonies 140 years ago for distant stars, it was the Serpent that compelled him to found his now great house. The Serpent made us who we are today. Its voice speaks to us, shepherding us through the dark, and infuses our lives with the meaning the universe so often fails to provide.
Va bene, non mi ha detto niente di nuovo. Vabbè, peccato. Ma il bagno è pulito, dai, almeno quello. Mm. Beh. Ok. Almeno questo mi ha dato qualche risposta. Cioè, del fatto che anche lui non sa niente in realtà.
Don't leave any of that behind.
E quindi niente. Ce ne possiamo andare. Molto bene. Arrivederci, tizio. Quasi quasi. Diamo un'occhiata a qualche altra info. Vabbè. Ah no, dai, forse c'è qualcosa. Va bene. Più che altro che mangia sto tizio. Poi boh, tipo si ammazza. Cioè, non lo so, questo cos'è. Mi lasciano perplesso. Comunque. Ah, sarà ascensore.
I'm told by top officials the cabinet already has.
Infatti. Va bene.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got
Captain, you're back sooner than... Oh, wait. Did you actually succeed? You saved him. You Vanguard really do take that above and beyond things here. And now, I've already arranged everything with the archival monitors. When you get down there, the UC monitor will give you instructions on how to... Here, the UC code piece and an archival access card. The entrance is just absolute best behavior down there, all right?
That man just echoed sentiment I've heard all over town. The cabinet needs to ensure attacks like this don't happen again.
Va bene.
Captain, we've been expecting you. Please approach the monitoring station and we will go over the rules. Welcome, Captain, to the archives. To proceed, you will need to deposit your codes into the 3 corresponding receptacles. Once they are verified, I will open the door. Your data resides in Unit 18. You will not be able to access any of the other units. Once you've collected your data, return to the entrance. You may insert the first of the archival codes when you're ready to begin.
Probabilmente non c'è nessuno.
Verified. Unlock engaged. You may proceed, Captain.
Vabbè, ormai sono giù, dai. Va bene lo stesso.
What? Oh, sorry.
There you are.
Captain? Deputy told me what went down. Impressed. Of work.
Captain, if you'd be willing to transfer the documents to the Major, she and I have been discussing what comes next.
Time for us to start getting some real answers. So whenever you're ready. You're carrying the most comprehensive collection of information on terramorphs in the known universe. If we can't pry an answer out of there, it likely doesn't exist. Certainly doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but we're not gonna know until Percival and I dig in, so whenever you're ready. Yes. It will be. Percival and I have done our damage. This is us starting to put some things right. So with the data out of the way, we've been discussing where exactly this work's getting done. The Red Devil's headquarters on Mars, back where you found Percival, seemed the natural spot. Already has the equipment, the safety measures. Though it sounded like the deputy had a few more things she needed to discuss with you first.
Indeed. The most important of which is getting you your citizenship.
Then I guess we'll see you on Mars.
Captain, if you'll follow me. Excuse me.
Messo sosia.
Hello.
Sul balcone? Andiamo sul balcone. Però non va. Mannaggia. Bugfield.
All right, Captain. Are you ready to become a citizen of the United Colonies? It doesn't. We don't really care where else you might have been, or once you earn your place in the United Colonies, it's yours. Well, only citizens can own property in New Atlantis. We also pay it, and all citizens receive an ample credit. Good. This isn't the only item we need to discuss, so I'll give you the short version. Please raise your hand. Captain, through your actions today and in days past, you have earned your place among the United Colonies. Through service, bravery, strength, and upholding of the mutual good. Will you carry and cultivate these values for as long as you remain a citizen? Then, Captain, I'm pleased to welcome you into the United Colonies as a full citizen. Here, your official ID and your citizenship dispensation. We've also let the Aphelion Realty office out in the plaza know you're approved to purchase property. Now, the other item we needed to discuss. There's a member of the UC who's asked to speak to you, but this person is in a sensitive position. Normally, we wouldn't even consider something like this. But we think this person has information that could prove useful in dealing with the terramorphs. And they've stated they'll only share it with you. They asked for you by name. So I need your agreement that everything you're about to see is kept in the strictest confidence. You can tell no one. Can you agree to these terms? I'm sorry. I can't share any more without your word. Do I have it? Let's hope it never comes to that. Head to the elevator. You're going to subsection 7. I'll make sure you're cleared for access by the time you get there.
Sottosezione 7, andiamo. Ascensore segreto.
Checking your record. Industrialist? Is that a fancy name for corporate ass? Oh.
Oh, vuoi dire che non l'hanno veramente ammazzato ed è solo nascosto qua?
I've lived in New Atlantis almost my entire life, and I had no idea this place even existed. The UC certainly excels at keeping secrets.
Vabbè, ci sarà l'arca dell'alleanza probabilmente.
Logging authorized entry. Unsealing access. You may proceed down the corridor. But there are no additional visitors permitted. Your friend's gonna have to wait out here.
I'll be fine. You go on ahead.
Welcome, Captain. Please, come down and approach the intercom. You and I should chat.
È lui, è lui.
President Abeyo was kind enough to give me a few files to peruse. Quite the series of accomplishments you've managed. But now you face a foe unlike any other. An invisible enemy, lurking in the shadows. You're going to need all the help you can get. Which is why I hoped we could speak. Do you know who I am? There's a reason for that. Introductions first, though. I'm Francois Sanon. But most know me as Victus.
Eccola, sapevo
I
io.
was an admiral during the Colony War. One of its great villains, if you believe the slates. I was to be executed for my crimes. But the previous regime deemed me too valuable to simply discard. So they put me here. A sacrifice on the altar of peace. Even my death served the colonies. To warrant my execution. The official charges I faced after the war were twofold. The first was the destruction of civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne, a battle during which those civilian ships were actively attacking my fleet. The other was ordering the bombing of the Londinian spaceport to halt the spread of the Terramorph outbreak there. The city and its citizens were lost, but countless others likely saved. And for doing what was right, I was put on trial, and my life irrevocably changed. One final act of rebellion by the leadership that lost the Colony War. The trial was authentic. I faced tribunal with dignity, but my execution, staged. A lethal injection that was anything but. The cabinet at the time, long gone now, wished to keep me on as an advisor, and considering the other option, I was in no place to refuse. So I elected to trade my freedom for my continued existence. But such is the life of a soldier. Very astute. That's my daughter. My progeny. You've been working alongside. Has she shared with you the nature of our little family? Did she? So willing to trust Hadrian. I never did succeed in driving that out of her. Our relationship has always been a challenging one. The Major was born to become a great leader, carry on the legacy I established, and was given all the finest training to support it. And she excelled. But the universe cut all that short. Now, though, it's placed even more crucial work in front of the two of you. And I think I have a part to play in helping you accomplish what you've set out to do. It was an attempt by the United Colonies to solidify its own legacy, forging a new generation of great leaders. They were raised by adoptive families made up of scholars and tacticians, trained at the United Colonies' greatest scientific, displayed incredible promise. But by the time the Colony War came to a close, there was only Hadrian. But that's ancient history now. You have much more pressing matters at hand, with which I can help. After some long years earning the trust of this current regime, the UC has been permitting me to work alongside one of their recovery teams, helping them gather intelligence on, locate, and organize scenarios to lure in some of the criminals that evaded justice after the Colony War. With quite a few successes, I might add. But in the process, I managed to find something else. The names and locations of Hadrian and Percival's old research team. Valuable manpower for the effort you're about to embark on. I'll tell you where they are, but in exchange, I need something dealt with. Well, who better to find them? But many of them I knew personally, and I've always had a mind for details. Where someone was born, next of kin. You'd be shocked how often an otherwise brilliant criminal flees to the planet just next to the one where they were born, or where a family member resides. I simply use my own personal knowledge and the information our group collects for me to track them down and set things right.
Va bene.
One task. That's all I require. There is a former colleague of mine, a man by the name of Dr. Reginald Orlaise. Like myself and Hadrian, he was involved in some of the United Colonies' more problematic lines of research. Mech weapons were his specialty. If it dealt death, he could make a deal more. When the Colony War ended, he fled, refusing to face tribunal, and has continued to peddle his skills to the highest bidder to this day. But I finally found him. I want you to track him down and deal with him, however you're able. I'm not expecting he'll come quietly. Bring me evidence that the job's done, and I'll tell you what I know. You can certainly try, but the man's been out there 20 years. It's easier for all if you simply blow up his ship and be done with it. Captain, your files indicate a track record of unlikely successes. It is my genuine hope that, perhaps down the line, you might become a part of our team. And this might be something of a tryout. Speak to Deputy McIntyre. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear that someone might be tying up this loose end at long last. Though I would ask you, do not make the mistake of confusing me for a simple cutthroat. If that's what you require to sleep at night, so be it. According to my information, he's been hiding around the world of Etheria, Wolf System.
Va bene.
There's a star station in the vicinity. The Den. The head of the local vanguard.
Ok. Non era chiaro che c'era il tizio, dai. È stato un po'... come dire? Uno spoiler al banalotto. No, uno spoiler, posso... un segreto di Pulcinella, insomma. Niente di che, ecco. Peccato. Ma va bene, ci sta. Cioè, diciamo che può essere un colpo di scena se non fosse che appena ti dicono c'è una persona che ha... capisci subito che è quello.
Identity verified. You may proceed to the exit.
Super imprigionato a vita, eccetera. Va bene.
I'm here for you, my love.
All right, let's go.
Va bene. Allora. Io provo a dare un'occhiata a sta roba, anche se... ah, ok, inaccessibile diretto. Vai, basta. Tanto è inutile stare qua a perdere tempo. L'uscita è di qua. Ok. Quindi, area super segreta dove nessuno sa che esiste. Dove c'è nascosto il birbantello.
Keep it moving.
Captain, did your meeting go well? I hope it's clear now why we needed you to agree to all the secrecy. Surprised me too when I learned it, but the prisoner has proven useful over the years, and kept far from any major decision-making. But I do think it's worth re-emphasizing. No one else can know about this. All right? The Major doesn't have clearance for this sort of information, and she certainly doesn't need a distraction from her current, very important work. Which is why I need you to keep this to yourself. Short of jailing you? No, you're right. But in this moment, I think it would be a big mistake. Though I presume he didn't call you down there simply to discuss his daughter. Dr. Reginald Orlaise? He's finally found him. Of course, killing Orlaise is completely out of the question, but bringing him to justice... He's been on the lam for years. That'd be a huge win for the UC. What's being offered in return? Allowing you to kill someone on behalf of the prisoner? Absolutely not. But taking the chance to bring a known criminal to justice? Well, the old man's been right more than a few times in the past. So, what's being put on the table here? Really? He found the members of the research team. We'd already initiated a search for them, but it'd save a lot of time and manpower if he just gave us that information. Captain, if that's the deal, you have my endorsement. Just so long as you make every effort to bring the man in alive. Now, was there anything else you wanted to discuss regarding your meeting? Trusting the man downstairs would be a mistake. But I don't think you need to be... This is far from the first name he's handed over, and all previous missions went off. So while I'd certainly warrant caution, I think you can proceed. The Den? It's a star station, orbiting Wolf, the second star station actually to bear that title. The first one was blown to smithereens by House Varun during the Serpent's Crusade. The place has always acted as a remote strategic hub, primarily for repairing and refueling UC military vessels. But because of its distance from the rest of the UC, things there have always been a little more lax. Patrols included. I can think of worse places in the galaxy for a criminal to hide out. Then I'll bid you good day, Captain, and remind you of the importance of discretion.
Va bene. Quindi
That was a pleasant change.
speriamo e salviamo.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the paint.
Ok. Grazie che è passato e a più tardi.